So apparently there's a new like exploit with privateers. I think you guys might have already heard it. I mean, chat told me to try it, so I did. Um, the thing is, you need to have a trade node, and you need to set up a vessel. And the vessel needs to be diverting trade to you, which is easy as fuck. Just press the button. It doesn't matter if they're disloyal. So in the beginning, when the chat told me to try it out, I used Beijing, and the thing is, nothing happened because my trade capital was in Beijing, and it wasn't until I moved my trade capital to Hangzhou and have Shaha divert trade that the thing start to work a bit. Yeah, exactly. You cannot be in that node that you're gonna do it. And then you make a vessel, you make him divert trade power to you. Well, what I think how it works is that you normally have the amount like the trade powers here, right? So you own the land here, blah blah blah, and you have the trade power there. But since you are not collecting there, usually the money will go downstream. Um, if well, if your vessel is over there with the trade capital over there, they should collect from the node itself, right? Because like how it normally works. But because you make them divert trade, essentially they have the trade power there, but they cannot use it. Like they basically transferred all of your trade power to you as the overlord, and they get zero trade power there. So even if they collect there, nothing happens because you have no trade power. You have zero. It doesn't like it shouldn't literally you see that they earn nothing. They earn zero. Trade power share is 0% because all the trade power gets transferred to me. The problem is if in a scenario where there's nobody else collecting, let's say there's only me and him in Beijing node, then I should be the one getting all trade power 100%. And since I'm not collecting, the money should go downstream, right? But because you have privateers coming into play, the privateers actually counts as an independent entity. So, I mean, that's how it always worked. Privateer is just like one nation, quotation mark, quotation that privateers is just one entity to collect trade with independent trade powers. So I don't know if it shows up here. No, it doesn't. But it's how it works. Like you have like privateers, like um like here, like 59% trade power among countries. They just act kind of like an independent nation. But the thing is, they are like part of the pie, right? Like so what I think is the privateer, because they're your privateer, somehow the more trade power you have, it gets multiplied. Um, I think that's how. I mean, I'm just guessing, right? Like, because you have all these things like trade efficiency, privateer efficiency, global trade power, blah 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 blah. All these things, right? All these modifiers. I think somehow when you do this thing where you have all or most of the trade power, it just get multiplied when you use privateers. So instead of like, well, 59% or like 600 power, you just get something stupid like 60,000 power and stuff. So it just the money get multiplied too also somewhat. It's probably just an error in the coding. But I mean, the point is, I basically realize two things. The more money going into that node, the more money you will get. So if I don't push trade from Canton to Hangzhou, so now I'm getting something stupid like 52k. If I push that money away, actually, it will go down. That's something I know for a start. So you do want yeah, and it's quite substantial. So the base amount definitely has something to do with the trade value on that node. So you still want your merchant to push money to the node that you want to exploit in. And the second thing I realized is that even if AI start collecting, it actually doesn't kill your exploit completely. I was collecting in Beijing, and then at the time, I didn't even realize Shah was transferring to me. I wasn't collecting, and I only had privateers doing it. And Chin actually was collecting, and they could collect it. They could collect the normal amount of money, no less. But they reduced my spoils of like my private income. And then the reason why I moved it to Hangzhou was because uh, Jianzhou also started collecting in Beijing, and that actually reduced it by another portion. So it actually suddenly becomes like, well, I wouldn't say it's unprofitable. It's still fucking stupidly profitable, but like not something stupid like 50,000 a month. So there's definitely some fuckery going on there. The more people collecting, the more diluted your privateers actually are. And yeah, that was that. If I if the exploit, yeah, I mean, actually, I'm not sure even. It could be that the guys collecting there also got some part of it because Chin has 1,000 ducats, 500 right now, with a 6 income. So I'm not completely sure, but there is a possibility that it wasn't that if other people are collecting, kill the exploit, but then it was more like the other people are also getting a share out of it. So there is that you have to consider. But other than that, everything's fine.